You're listening to Jamie Council on the Sports Council. The council is now in session.
With a personality shaped by being an athlete and a background in mainstream sports media, I found that the stories I was most interested in telling were the ones often overlooked, the ones that might not otherwise be told, the ones that show the intangible and not just the highlight reel. The Sports Council is about highlighting the great, the good, the unique, and everything in between in the Pacific Northwest sports world. I'm Jamie Council. Thanks for joining me.
You're listening to the Sports Council on 1340 ESPN, the Tri-Cities leader in sports.
It's basketball season, and the Eastern Washington women's basketball team is 2-2 heading into week 3 of conference play. We're catching up with last year's Big Sky Women's Coach of the Year and head coach for the Eagles, Joddie Gleason.
Joddie Gleason, head women's basketball coach, Eastern Washington.
So right now, you guys just started conference play, are 500 coming off 2 wins. Just tell me a little bit about where the team is at right now in the season.
We're continuously getting better. That's always been our goal. We have had numerous injuries to upperclassmen on our roster, and so we've had some freshmen really step up and are playing extremely well. We kind of throw them to the Sharks to start the season with a really, really tough schedule, and with all the injuries, they just kind of had to get out there and do it. So it's kind of nice to see that we're reaping the rewards of them getting so much experience in the preseason, and our conference is really tough. We know every single night's going to be a battle, so we feel like we are where we should be at this time of the year.
And you guys are it's a very interesting year where you lost your starting 5, the beautiful trophies behind me, a banner year. So what was that like for you as a coach? I mean, it's part of coaching to make the most of what you have on the court, but you definitely had a mountain to climb coming into this season.
Yeah, losing the entire starting lineup is never easy. So we knew that it was kind of the time for our returners to shine. And so we trusted in, that we would have Ella Gallatin, Ellie Bonai, and Bree Schuler to kind of lead the way in the guard spots, and then Bella Hayes in the post. So they, and Alexis Pettis in the guard spot, obviously. And so, we knew that they would be our backbone and would teach all the new players the ropes and kind of what we need to do day in and day out to be, excellent. And that's kind of our goal, is to always, strive for excellence to every single day. So we kind of handed the ropes over to those guys, and they did a great job, both leadership and just kind of bringing everybody together. So combining them with, Peyton Howard as a transfer, Rachel Harvey and Paris Kirk as transfers. We brought in 5 freshmen and knew that they would play a lot of minutes. We didn't think they'd play this many minutes, but with all of the injuries, they played a few more, and they're really good. They're doing a great job.
And taking a look at the trophies behind us, going from your time here, a 9-win season to a 19-win season to last year, 29-win season, and Big Sky championship. Would you say that was the highlight of your career thus far?
It was a pretty fun year. I'm not going to lie. We just had such a great group, great chemistry, as well as obviously really good basketball players. So just awesome people to be around. They worked really hard. They were driven internally. And so that just makes it a lot of fun for us. And then you can kind of stack wins when they're also just all bought in and obviously really good. We've had some great, championship years at other programs and other schools as well, but definitely the top of the mountain here at Eastern for sure.
So then that transfers into, okay, how do we replicate success with transfers? So let's get in, as well as the freshmen and the returners that you had mentioned. So let's get into some of these individual players. Early on in the season, you really did rely on the Spokane Valley native transfer from Seattle U in Peyton Howard.
Yeah, we brought Peyton in. We obviously knew her really well. We recruited her to Seattle U when Skip and I were over there, and she played for us as a freshman, and then we got the job here at Eastern, and she continued to run our offense for a couple years over there. So, had 3 years under her belt with our system. So we knew her individually, we knew what type of player she was, and that as a point guard, she knew the system. And it's something that takes a while to learn. It's, half a year to a year before you really get all of the reads and understand a lot of the offense. So we knew that she'd be able to hit the ground running, and it's something we needed at the point guard with the graduation of Jamie Loetta. And so, it was a no-brainer for us to try to get her here when she went to the portal. We were super excited when she wanted to come back home, and our offense is really just set up for that scoring point guard. And, she's able to do a lot for us at both scoring, but also distributing as well.
Pop into 2025 with Krispy Kreme. Yes, Krispy Kreme is teamed with Pop-Tarts to bring you our Pop-Tart collection. Come grab a dozen of your favorite donuts flavored as your favorite Pop-Tarts January 6th through 21st. While in store, ask how you could earn free donuts with the Krispy Kreme app. And we still have openings for your fundraisers. A great way to support your team, church, or other nonprofit. All at your local Krispy Kreme. 2805 Dupertail Street in Richmond. Come in with a sweet tooth, leave with a smile.
The theme is Mardi Gras. Join me, Jamie Council, at the 4th Annual Pasco-Kennewick Rotary Wine Valley Gala on February 8th at Zintill Creek in Kennewick. There will be hors d'oeuvres, a silent auction, and of course, wine. Plus, it's all to give back to the community. Jeanette Fiore is a member of Rotary. Jeanette, what does the money raised go towards?
Jamie, we give tens of thousands of dollars to educational scholarships, technical scholarships, community-based projects, so many different things that enhance our youth and build leadership skills and make them more productive citizens for the community.
So Saturday, February 8th at 6 o'clock, what do people need to know about the event?
Come as you are. You're welcome to dress in Mardi Gras attire, but it's not necessary. It should be a fun night. Meet a lot of people. There'll be a silent auction. There'll be raffle items. And one of the wonderful things will be a Traeger grill.
For more information, go to pkrotary.org.
Inconveniences can happen at, inconvenient times. JRT Mechanical has plumbers and HVAC technicians available 24/7 if an emergency does arise. Or if you feel like your house isn't cooling like it used to, or if you're tired of a hose leaking from last winter's freeze, JRT is an honest, reliable company that's been in the Pacific Northwest for more than 3 decades. Give JRT Mechanical a call at 509-314-4314 or visit jrtmechanical.com.
If you've got a winery, brewery, or dairy, why buy industrial parts and supplies from across the country? Central Industrial Sales is your local source for supplies and equipment for the dairy, food processing, winery, and brewing industries. We specialize in custom fabrication, industrial cleaning equipment, sanitary fittings, valves, pumps, chemicals, and many other supplies. Everything's available through our website, by phone, or by dropping by our office. Call 509-375-4032 or find us at centralindustrialsales.com.
You're listening to Jamie Council on the Sports Council.
You're listening to 1340 ESPN, your Tri-Cities leader in sports. We're catching up with Joddie Gleason, head coach for Eastern Washington women's basketball.
And then a pair of freshmen that have come in and really seen their development through the preseason now into Big Sky starting is Courtney Grossman as well as JC Eggers. So it's kind of fun. It seems like you guys are getting players from all 3 places, but then including the freshmen that you have.
Right. You want to have that balance of, the returners, the new transfers, and the new freshmen. That's kind of our MO has always been to bring in freshmen, try to develop them, and we think they get continue to get better every single year and become better juniors and seniors than usually you're going to be able to get in the portal. So that's kind of our goal. But bringing in Courtney Grossman has obviously been one that has earned some accolades. It's got Player of the Week in the conference, is on double watch almost every single game. She's just a menace on the boards and converts those into points, or can also score multitude of ways. She can hit the three, she can go off the bounce. So she's a very versatile forward for us. And with the graduation of Jacinta Buckley, we knew that position was one where it was going to be wide open to either returners or freshmen. And with the injury of Bree Schuler, and Courtney has taken over that spot and has earned that spot, and she's doing a great job.
As well as moving on with JC Eggers, it's not often that you see the freshman has the composure that Eggers has shown the past couple of games, coming off your 2 wins over the weekend.
Yeah, we started out with JC at that 4 spot and Bella at the 5, trying to get more returners on the court. And then just decided midway through the preseason that, we needed to move JC back to the 5. That's really her comfort zone where she was in high school, where, it just is a place where she's just a little more comfortable. So we moved her back to the 5, and then so that she could kind of just blossom a little bit more. And not to say that she can't do both, but we decided just to make that move as best for what we needed to do. And JC just is a really highly recruited freshman, somebody that was, probably the top as far as who had most offers and who was being sought after by a lot of different schools. So we were really happy when she decided to come here. She just has a great frame. She's athletic. She can play inside and out. And then, like you said, just composed. She, keeps her cool. She doesn't get rattled, and she's just a student of the game. She's always trying to learn what we want, what will help her get better, what the team needs. And, she has just been a great addition this year.
And she comes from a basketball family.
Yeah.
Her dad, Jeremy Eggers, I think for one season I was reading in her bio, or his bio, I think, online for Bellevue College, that he coached both the men and the women for one season.
That's tough to do the 2 teams at one time. Yeah, JC's grown up in the gym. Her dad is a coach. He started the FOH program where, she went through as a club, and he was more on the boys' side or the men's side, but he had 3 daughters. So then it was kind of like, well, we need to get going with the girls' side as well. And so, they're just a great family. And like I said, she just grew up in the gym, and she's put a lot of time in there, and you can see that take place on the court.
And so we talked about the trifecta of where you get your talent transfers, the 2 freshmen that are starting. And then also we touched a bit on the returners, but 2 returners that are in the starting 5 is Ella Gallatin really starting to come into her own, as well as Alexis Pettis. She's always been the firecracker off the bench, but we found out that she can create a surge in the starting 5 as well.
Yeah, Ella Gallatin is just kind of hitting her stride here during conference. I'm so happy for her. She puts in all the work. She's, one that gets up the most shots probably on the team, is in the gym before, after, is always working extremely hard. And then she just kind of had to watch a little bit more than she probably wanted from the sideline the last year, because we had so much depth in her spot. And she was very capable. She played with these guys every day in practice, and was in the rotation in games, but just not to the extent that she is now. And I'm just so happy because it's her time now, and she's really embraced that and is stepping up, and is also leading really well. Has a great voice on the court, has that urgency, and that just knows what we want to have happen. So I'm just super happy for Ella. And then Alexis Pettis, AP, is starting for us now. Again, she has kind of been the in and out of the starting lineup with injuries to other players on our team, but we're moving forward. She's earned that spot, and it's always tough because she is such a great spark plug off the bench. But we needed some production in the lineup as well. So she stepped in there when Ellie Bonai was injured, and is playing really well, and is also another great leader for us.
And that's something that we saw last year, where it seemed like you had a starting 6. I mean, you could go up to starting 7 or 8, arguably. But with that being said, something I feel you and Skip do so well is create that competitive nature. And you also, I think it's safe to say, recruit that competitive nature where you saw in preseason, really seeing where people are comfortable. And it's always hard when a player does step into the starting 5 and then they're sitting on the depth chart. So it's something that I think you guys recruit as well as you guys curate of keeping your players very hungry.
Yeah. We try to talk about it by position rather than like who's in the starting 5. We want to say at the point guard position, right? So whoever plays those 40 minutes, what are our goals at the center, at the 5 position? We have these goals. And so we really try to get them to work together to get the goals that we're seeking on a weekend or on a game. So, and we'll kind of elaborate on those points and really try to get the team to buy into that as well. And I know, so many of them and fans like to talk about, who's starting. And for us, it's more about who's finishing, who's playing in crunch time, who's making plays, who's, contributing in different situations. So, it might change a little bit with, lineups based on who we're playing against. And it also might change just with injuries and fatigue and all those kinds of things. So, we don't get too consumed with who's starting, but I know a lot of other people do, but we just try to focus on, the team and what's best for the team and giving your best when you're out there and trying to be more collective with the shooting guards, the point guards, the forwards, like how are you guys contributing and are you meeting your goals as a group?
And speaking of as a group, last year it's unheard of how many players stayed in the program, which obviously paid dividends. And this year, with having so many new faces, how do you feel like you guys are gelling together kind of on the fast track?
Yeah. The team chemistry is one of our biggest assets, I feel like, in our program, and something that we really work hard at. And, obviously the year prior when we had 16 returners, it wasn't tough, but you still have to work on it. It's your expectations and what's being said and done in the locker room is something that is ultra important to us because we're not in there. And so it's just really getting our leaders to understand that, getting them to cultivate that. And then, it doesn't change when people leave or when there's graduation. We want to make sure that culture is solid, that it's something that is important to us, and we work really hard and take a lot of time to kind of get the background on our recruits and also to foster it when they're here. So, we don't always get it right, but we get it right most of the time, where we're bringing in quality people, people that will fit in with our culture, people that will fit in with our style. And then also, like you mentioned, just that competitiveness. It's something that sometimes you can't always see as a coach when you're recruiting. So we like to, especially if it's only on film. So we go to games, like what kind of teammate are they? Are they ultra competitive? Are they mad when they lose, And we want to make sure that we're bringing people in that obviously are great fits, but that also are ultra competitive and just want to try to do whatever they can to win.
And I think you're seeing the dividends of that thinking play out. So now where you're seeing players really starting to hit their stride. We talked about Ella Gallatin and then between Eggers and Grossman. And in the early goings of the season, I feel like with so many different pieces coming in, people don't really know their roles. And you just want somebody to step up and be like, this is my position. This is my team. How did you cultivate that? Because I think it's showing on the court where people didn't really know their roles when you're wanting them to come in and really take them in the early goings of the season.
Yeah, it's always tough when you need new roles to be established. Plus, you have a lot of new faces. So, as coaches, we try to communicate as much as we can with that kind of stuff and really get them to understand what we expect out of them. And then also recognizing that, like I mentioned before, it's, you kind of put in the time and you're in a position like AP and Ella to really step up and be those go-to players down the stretch. And we'll watch film as a team, we'll watch film individually, and we'll kind of just try to, create those scenarios where they understand that now it's their time to make those plays where, in the past it was maybe Jamie or Aaliyah or somebody else. So, and it takes time and it takes, going through some growing pains in the preseason. And now I think that we can kind of recognize, what we want to go through and who we want to go through and what plays we want to run and that kind of stuff. So I think it does take time and I think that they're, really embracing that and doing a good job with it.
So you've been able to help them establish, to build that confidence, to work into those roles.
Yeah, I think that it's confidence, it's repetition, it's kind of seeing yourself in that role, recognizing that, oh, I'm the one that needs to make this play down the stretch instead of deferring to somebody else. So, it doesn't come overnight. It's something that you kind of have to work on. And our schedule didn't help at all because it was the toughest schedule we've ever had here at Eastern in the preseason. And, when you're playing some really powerful teams, it's tough to continue to grow confidence when, you're maybe not getting the wins that you would like. So I think that they've just done a great job of showing that resiliency and fighting through and continuing to improve themselves.
Yeah, you don't have a Jamie Loetta on the court to defer to. However, you do have a Jamie Loetta on the bench. So what's that transition been like? The MVP of the Big Sky is now an assistant coach for you guys.
Yeah. Oh, we love it. She does a great job. She is super knowledgeable in the game as a whole. She obviously knows our system and how we want to run things, but also just is a great person. And so just a person for the players to bounce ideas off with, to watch film with, to get, she'll see something that's happening during a game or during practice and she'll go talk to the point guards and, Peyton and Emily and Rachel and just kind of give her insight. And so, she's been there just 1 year removed. And so I think that she can relate to them a little bit better and she can just kind of, throw herself into them. And she does a really good job of that. We're really excited that she's here with us.
Inconveniences can happen at, inconvenient times. JRT Mechanical has plumbers and HVAC technicians available 24/7 if an emergency does arise. Or if you feel like your house isn't cooling like it used to, or if you're tired of a hose leaking from last winter's freeze, JRT is an honest, reliable company that's been in the Pacific Northwest for more than 3 decades. Give JRT Mechanical a call at 509-314-4314 or visit jrtmechanical.com.
The theme is Mardi Gras. Join me, Jamie Council, at the 4th Annual Pasco Kennewick Rotary Wine Valley Gala on February 8th at Zintill Creek in Kennewick. There will be hors d'oeuvres, a silent auction, and of course, wine. Plus, it's all to give back to the community. Jeanette Fiore is a member of Rotary. Jeanette, what does the money raised go towards?
Jamie, we give tens of thousands of dollars to educational scholarships, technical scholarships, community-based projects, so many different things that enhance our youth and build leadership skills and make them more productive citizens for the community.
So Saturday, February 8th at 6 o'clock, what do people need to know about the event?
Come as you are. You're welcome to dress in Mardi Gras attire, but it's not necessary. It should be a fun night. Meet a lot of people. There'll be a silent auction. There'll be raffle items. And one of the wonderful things will be a Traeger grill.
For more information, go to pkrotary.org.
If you've got a winery, brewery, or dairy, why buy industrial parts and supplies from across the country? Central Industrial Sales is your local source for supplies and equipment for the dairy, food processing, winery, and brewing industries. We specialize in custom fabrication, industrial cleaning equipment, sanitary fittings, valves, pumps, chemicals, and many other supplies. Everything's available through our website, by phone, or by dropping by our office. Call 509-375-4032 or find us at centralindustrialsales.com.
Pop into 2025 with Krispy Kreme. Yes, Krispy Kreme has teamed with Pop-Tarts to bring you our Pop-Tart collection. Come grab a dozen of your favorite donuts flavored as your favorite Pop-Tarts January 6th through 21st. While in store, ask how you could earn free donuts with the Krispy Kreme app. And we still have openings for your fundraisers. A great way to support your team, church, or other nonprofit. All at your local Krispy Kreme. 2805 Dupertail Street in Richmond. Come in with a sweet tooth, leave with a smile.
You're listening to the Sports Council on 1340 ESPN, the Tri-Cities leader in sports.
You're listening to 1340 ESPN, your Tri-Cities leader in sports. We're catching up with Joddie Gleason, head coach for Eastern Washington women's basketball.
Show is in the Tri-Cities, and next year out of the Tri-Cities, you will have Dylan Dress from Kennewick joining you guys. I guess, talk about somebody who you won't see on the court this year for the Eags, but next year.
Yeah, so we were able to recruit Dylan Dress out of Kennewick, and she's one of those just prolific scorers. She can shoot the three extremely well, but she can also can kind of get inside. She's a physical guard that we like. We like to have some of those guards with a little bit of size, and so she's competitive. She rebounds, but ultimately she can really shoot from the outside. So that was something that drew us to her when we were in the recruiting process. We've met her family. They are great. We feel like it's a really good match.
And we talked about this in the past, but you really believe on recruiting locally. You have a lot of players from the state of Washington.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we try to, recruit as best we can in the region. We think that, we're a state school. Eastern Washington University should represent Washington State. And so we do recruit a ton of Washington kids, Pacific Northwest kids. We think that it's a great location for these players to be able to go home and come back. And we're stretching out into Montana, trying to just get some of those kids over here because, it's a 4-hour drive to Missoula. It's super easy for them to get back and get home for breaks and all those kinds of things. So, we do try to get some regional kids just so they are comfortable and their parents can watch them play and all those kinds of things. But, we're always just trying to get the best talent. So it doesn't really matter where they're from, but we do try to, get a lot of Washington kids for sure.
College athletics have changed so much in the recent times. And in the state of Washington, we've seen a lot between the Pac-12, Pac-2, as well as the announcement, with the WCC, Gonzaga moving in. How do you feel like that affects Eastern? Does it affect you guys at all? I mean, you're solidly in the Big Sky, but there's a lot of movement going around. So do you see any ripple effects here in Cheney?
I don't think that we see a lot. I think that anything can happen. I think that the big thing that you take away from all of that movement is anything could happen on any given day. I think there was 48 hours before the Pac-12 was dissolved. So, it's just the state of what we're in right now, unfortunately, in my opinion. I think that, a lot of those rivalries and regional games and, things that's what you miss when you have teams traveling across the country to play in a different conference. So, I think it's unfortunate. I don't think that it affects us too much here at Eastern, but, who knows, in any given day, something could change for sure.
And as a coach, you do have to deal with some different things changing. We just talked about it in your win over Sacramento State. Jadia Martin, who played on your team last year, now playing for another team in the Big Sky. And I loved your answer where you're like, obviously, we want her to play for us, giving props where props are due. She had 23 points, but you guys came away with the win, and you're saying that we're basically rocking with who we have. So that's such a tough path to walk as a coach, because obviously you care for your players. You want the best for your players, but you also want the best for your players here at Eastern Washington.
Yeah. It is. It's where we live right now in the transfer portal, world. It's obviously not a situation that any of us really dreamed of, I don't think, until the last few years where it's exploded. And it's just you kind of have to evolve with it, I guess. I'm pretty old school in that I like to, like I said, bring people in, develop them, build those relationships, have them here for 3, 4, 5, however many years that it takes for them to graduate, and cultivate those relationships. And it doesn't always mean that they're going to stay here for the whole time. So it doesn't mean that there's anything wrong with us. It was just, a variety of different things that we lost some players last year in the portal. So it's just the way that it is, I think, and you have to evolve. And it's tough for us. I think that, I think initially you might take it personally, but it really isn't about you. It's about, what they need in the situation that they want to go to. So as far as JD, we had, it was good to see her. She's a great person. But it is tough when you've, known them for 3 years. They're really part of your family. And then to have them move on and play somewhere else and then be in the conference is even extra challenging. But you kind of just have to, separate yourself. Once the game starts, it's the Sac State against Eastern. It doesn't anything to do with the individuals. So, she's a competitor. We're competitors. So we just tried to get out there and battle.
Yeah, it is tougher when they're in the conference rather than Aaliyah Alexander, UNLV, where, it's just a really tough pill to swallow. But it's just something I think you hit it on the nose, where it's something that you never thought that you would have to deal with as a coach.
Yeah, there always were transfers, but you had that year of sitting out that would prohibit a lot of people from transferring. Right, so it's just a different world now where you can go multiple times, and it's really tough to recruit. You don't really know what your roster is going to be in 2 years to know who you should recruit in that class. But, we just try to evolve with it.
And you've certainly shown that you can get the job done, roll with the people you have coming off 2 wins. So a lot of closeness here at Eastern Washington. You can see between, when the soccer team was out there, the basketball team was out supporting them. Why Eastern Washington? And why, I guess, what do you tell people of what to appreciate being an Eag?
It's all about the people for us. We really try to cultivate those strong relationships between player to player, between coaches and players, between teams, the people that work in the facilities and in the athletics office and on campus. It's about the people. It's a great place. And you can't really talk about it. You have to really feel it and come and witness it. I think that our culture on our team is something that we really hold at a high standard. And when people come in, I think that they kind of get to feel it more than, see it. It's hard to put it into words or into film. So we just try to get people, to come on campus, get to know us and get to know our players. And, that's kind of the biggest sell is the people that are here. And we always tell them, we have great facilities. We have great infrastructure, all those kinds of things. Not to say that we don't, but shiny things wear off, but the relationships and the people don't. And so we really try to, get people that buy into that same philosophy.
Well, we had to end on a high note. Joddie Gleason, thank you so much for your time.
All right, thank you. Louise.
The Eagles face Idaho on Saturday before returning home Monday to face the only unbeaten team in Big Sky play. It's Montana State and the Eagles tip-off set for 6 o'clock from Reese Court, with coverage also available on ESPN+.
Well, that wrap up this week's show of the Sports Council. Thank you for joining me on 1340 ESPN, your Tri-Cities leader in sports. A reminder, the Sports Council happens 4 times a month, 11:30 a.m. on Thursdays. But you can listen to the show not just over the airwaves at 11:30 on Thursdays, but also on demand at 1340ESPNradio.com via podcast. Wherever you get your podcasts, just search for the Sports Council. And it's also available via YouTube. So lots of ways to listen to the Sports Council and support our local sports community. Until next time, I'm Jamie Council. Now we go back to your originally scheduled Seattle sports program.